We all set, Clerk Pern?
All set.
All right, Mr. Monet, we gave him a few minutes. Doesn't look like he can make it, so let's call the meeting to order. At the time of 9:35, is that what you got? All right, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you all for coming. Clerk Pern, could we please have a roll call?
Supervisor Bertrand.
I am here.
Treasurer Hop.
Here.
Trustee Monet, excused. Clerk Pern here. Trustee Detmer.
Here.
Okay, the first thing we need to look at is to approve the agenda. The agenda was on the table if any of you walked in. We had a couple of last minute things that just happened. Timothy Monet had an emergency and will not be here. We were counting on him to be here in order 5 people could add things. If we're all here, we can add things to the agenda. We have people here ready to sign the library agreement. We're ready to go on the library agreement. I'm going to make an exception, and even though only 4 of us are here, I'm going to add the library agreement to the agenda. I'm going to suggest that it be there, and it be the first thing on the agenda. That would be one modification. On the second item of the agenda, it says discussion. The original agenda had a resolution, a striking resolution we're going to discuss, including the Roscommon County Sheriff's Department. And I think that lets us go starting with the library. Is Anthony here? I think he's in the next room making copies for us.
You know, we did say something about that at our meeting on Saturday. We said we were going to push that to Wednesday, so.
Right, but I did not put it on the agenda
Yeah, okay.
because I did not realize the addendums were all done. Last night, we figured that out. I will make a motion that we approve the agenda.
I think I just saw him pull in
Who?
Timothy. So you want to wait?
I'll wait.
Yeah, I think he just pulled in.
Okay, we can wait a little bit. If the public can wait. Let me see if Anthony is printing those things up. Hey, I know you. Get me more sleep than I did last night. Hey, good. Good shot.
I apologize, I had a pet emergency again, and I just raced back from the other side of Claire, another sick animal. So I had nothing to get out back here.
I'm not gonna, did, but I'm not gonna do it because it's here, so good. Yeah. Lord knows. Okay, back to business. Mr. Monet is here, so there's no need to try and make an amendment to include it with only 4 people when he is back here. I will make a motion to add the library and we can vote on it with all 5 people. So he stopped right there for a second. I'm sure he'll be right out. So Clerk Pern, if you'll modify the roll call.
Yes, I'll now not excuse
Okay.
trustee Monet. He's here.
Okay, so trustee Monet, we were just in the process of trying to add to the agenda the Lyon Library Branch Agreement. They are here to sign it. The addendums have been put in. We're good to go on that. So with you here, I'll make a motion that on the agenda that we add in the number 1 position, the adoption of the Lyon Library Branch Agreement. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on it?
Yes, I have discussion. I don't know who you are, by the way.
Anthony, DeSoto.
Library Board
I
Chair.
cut all my hair off, so you probably don't recognize me.
I can't get used to it without hair. So, did I hear someone say that if a quorum is here, we can add additions?
No, I said I was going to make an exception, and because there was people here to sign it. But I don't have to because you're here.
Once again, I will clarify that the state statute says you're not allowed to add items to an agenda unless the entire board is sitting here. I am here now, though, so we can add it, so
Thank you, sir.
there can't be any exceptions.
Well, I was going to make one, but thank you.
Well,
I
not
agree
allowed
with
to.
that, because I was going to not go with that.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's move forward. So you are here. Is there any discussion on that motion to put Lyon Township Agreement in the number 1 position on the agenda? Okay, we'll end the discussion. So all of those in favor of approving the agenda as modified signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. And that motion carries. So that brings us to the agenda itself as modified. So the Lyon Library Branch Agreement is now finalized. The addendums are in it. For those of you who don't know anything about it, it's a great thing. Anthony is here and the other board members are here to sign it. So if you want to do a quick presentation, Anthony,
Yeah.
we could move on from there.
Would you like me to re-present as I did for anybody that wasn't here at the previous meeting?
A shorter version.
Yeah, bullet
Sure.
points.
My name's Anthony DeSoto. I'm the president of the Roscommon Area District Library Board. Basically, we have an agreement that we've put together. Real quick, prior to the agreement, we had some issues of just no documentation of our space here, and we've been in the branch here since 1976, if I'm not mistaken. So, upon some issues that we ran into last year, we decided that it would be a benefit to both parties to put an agreement together that just is mutual to both parties, to where basically it sets out a defined space. A lease agreement was a lease term was agreed upon, and so at the previous meeting there were a couple changes that were requested to be made, and that was to reduce the term by 5 years, which we did. And then there were also 2 exhibits that were attached. Exhibit A would just be the floor plan that shows that space, and Exhibit B was just to have an itemized list of the items that belong to the branch library in that space. And so with those additions finalized on this agreement, I present it to you in a finished format.
I certainly appreciate it. Are the signatures on here already from your other library board members?
They are not.
Okay. If If you want to have them sign it right now and hand it back to me, I can make a motion that we approve adopting this.
Okay.
If they're here today, that
I don't
was the
believe
purpose.
Martha is here yet. I
Oh.
think we were under the impression the meeting was at 10.
Okay.
But that could have just been a,
You want to hang out for a few minutes and see
yeah,
if she shows up?
I can sign it, and then when she gets here,
Either way it'll work if you think she's coming.
I was told she'll be here.
Okay, well, we'll hold off on that part.
Okay.
The next thing on the agenda is, well, let me back up here. Neil, are you okay with hanging out here long enough to get to you on this agenda?
Yep, you're fine.
Okay, thank you for that. The next thing will be a discussion on the proposed septic ordinance, and Speaker Nick Sargent is here to speak first and give us some information, and then I don't know how long he can hang around either.
Hey, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Interrupt you, Martha did just walk in.
Okay. Well, then we'll back up.
Hello, Martha.
They told me 10 o'clock.
Okay, well, Martha, good to see you. We're at the point where if you sign the library agreement and hand it to us, we can then have a motion to approve adopting it and going forward.
I thought it was 10.
When you got a cat or a dog in crisis, so we don't have any dogs, do you?
5 cats.
Must be one of them, eh? Do you have to go to Traverse City again, then?
Not today. My whole family's diabetic, and so is now one of my cats. He had a seizure.
Thank you, Anthony. So I am in possession of the Lyon Branch Library Agreement signed by the library to be entered in on the first day of July as the effective date. The addendum, 417 square feet is in here, $500 per month was what the library was offering to us. And I believe everything else in here, there's a drawing for the floor plan, all the stuff that needed to be in there to finish this, inventory of the equipment. It's all in here now. So I'm going to make a motion that we as the township board adopt the new Lyon Branch Library Agreement to be effective on July 1st of 2025.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any board discussion on the matter? Okay, we will end the discussion. Clerk Purden, there's money there, so could we please do a roll call vote on it?
Certainly. Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Treasurer Huff,
Yes.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Trustee Monet,
Yay.
Clerk Pern, yes.
Okay, the motion carries. I'm overjoyed. That was a long road.
Oh, man.
That was a long road getting here. Great.
Those Jack Reacher books.
Yeah, there, you gotta fulfill his
I'll see
wish
what I
there.
can do.
All right, that's great. The next thing in the agenda would then be a discussion on the proposed septic ordinance. The backstory on this is we've gone back and forth, got to a point of sale, time of transfer, switched gears into let's talk about everything first, not just adopt point of sale, time of transfer, and build on it. So we're here today to start that process, and Nick Sargent was kind enough to come down and give us some information and his take on this. So Nick, if you'd like to do that, that would be wonderful.
Where should I stand or sit? This okay?
If you sit there, that microphone will pick it up
All right, cool.
really well.
All right, Nick Sargent, Sargent Septic and Excavating. I think everybody's fairly familiar with me and what I do. Been in the area for a lifetime and then some, family business, 70 plus years in existence here. I know way more about septics than anything else, especially septics around Higgins Lake and the quality of our lakes and the quality of our water collectively is pretty much all of my family's ever done or cared about. So moving forward, obviously ordinances and rules in place are only going to help the quality of everything as far as water goes, both drinking water, surface water, groundwater, you name it. I was involved in the implementation of the first ordinance that they did with the last board. Took a long time, lots of talk amongst the health departments, local groups, then the township in itself went and got their own information too, and you know, none of it is bad information. You can find it anywhere, Google's full of it. What the ordinance is going to do for our area is especially going to be determined by how much time and effort you all put into it. We could certainly go to a cookie cutter version of a time of transfer point of sale program, take it right off the shelf, put our name on it, and it would be as good as whoever did it before. You know, I think that a super collaborative effort here is definitely needed in order to make the thing what Higgins Lake folks want. Time, of course, is important, but potentially not the main driver here. So septic systems have been around longer than all of us, and whether they contributed in a great way that we're used to now as far as nutrient loading into lakes, streams, rivers, probably has never been as good as it is now. The septics that are installed now have safeguards against pollution of our environment. And it's obvious in some of the studies that you can find. So data will show you anything you want to look into and see, but when you really start to expand this thing out and fine tune the nuts and bolts, I'm more than willing to be a resource for you, just because I know plenty about it. But in particular, you know, that's how I'm going to be able to benefit. Is you ask a question, I'll be able to give you opinions based on the ground, generations worth of experience here, as well as a pretty extensive education that I've received throughout my years of training, certifications and whatnot. So extending a hand is mainly what I'd like to make sure that y'all know I'm here for, and to answer questions.
So I got a question for
Yes,
you.
sir.
What is your opinion, expertise, knowledge on the overall septics in general? The ones you've inspected, have you found many that are, you know, dysfunctional or
Sure.
don't work at all? And what is your take on the, you know, the hearsay and everything on, oh, it's ruining the lake, blah, blah, blah. Do you buy any of that?
Kevin, good question. I've been asked this question before, and I like to answer it because I'm very adamant about, passionate, I should say, about the whole septic systems and lake in general. I've enjoyed the lake my whole life, so has my family, and made a career out of making septics work for people, right? So upon doing the inspections, the data shows that we did find some absolute failures, ones that the health department gets sick over. You know, the direct discharges, the systems that are leaking into the water, those are bad. After the 600-ish inspections that I did, it was confirmed to me that the problem that we all perceived, me included, there was going to be issues with lots of septics leaking, lots of septics potentially having lines to the lake. It was confirmed that that's not necessarily the case. They're not around every corner. There's not the 55-gallon drums everyone thought there was. The lake, the pipes to the lake aren't there. We didn't find them. And that only helped to confirm what I had already kind of understood after doing septics for so long. You know, personally, only ever finding one pipe that was crushed and in horrible condition and not allowing any water to go to the lake was hooked to a gray water tank. Consequently, I can tell you the one time that I saw water getting to that lake was rectified immediately. So, is there a huge problem when you look at a particulate layer? Maybe there's effluent that seeps through groundwater that gets to it. Leaking septic tanks are allowing microorganisms, and I mean at a very low rate, into our groundwater and then potentially to the lake. Is that an alarming thing? When I look at the use of water around here, people aren't flushing their toilets like they are at full-time occupancies. Let's face it, you know, the people in the room here, a lot of us are full-time residents, but these homes aren't getting used very often. Some of the lakefront homes, yes, can have heavy weekends or heavy weeks at a time. Those septic systems either blew up and are being replaced or have been replaced, or they know that they can't use it. You know, there's signs on the backs of toilets all over the place. If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. That is a concept developed by a system that's slow running. You know, and you think about that coming to your cottage with your grandkids, you're going to take short showers or you're going to go to the lake, and we don't flush the toilet every time. That being said, that's the kind of lifestyle we had here at Higgins for a very long time. When the homes get sold, they're transferred. Now all of a sudden, the new use means that we have to actually look into the septic system and how it's working, because that might be a full-time home or somebody's moving up for a retirement gig, and now they need a system that can accommodate. I think I've just about hit everything.
Yeah.
However, the
Great.
roots that grow from the trees here are accepting a huge majority of the nutrient loading that we're giving them. They're all high in the ground. The roots are high as well. The septic tanks are inundated with roots. And when you talk about a slow system, those slow systems are because the roots have gotten into the tanks and or the drain fields, and they're absolutely sucking up water at the rate or faster than what people can use it. So, interesting concept that doesn't come out very often.
Yeah.
Great question.
That's
Which is
excellent.
why I'm for quit cutting trees down up here. Leave them alone.
Sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So it was brought up before about this idea of a tiered system. Do you have any knowledge on that as far as how extensive you want your septic inspection? And on top of that, and I'm not going to pick on anyone in particular, but it has been brought to my attention by numerous people that had inspections across the board from all sorts of companies. There wasn't a uniform standard of what was being inspected. Some people said that somebody went in their house and did run the water, did flush the toilet, others didn't. Someone said that they just took one picture and I got charged $500. Is there going to be, well, and I guess that would be up to us too, there has to be a uniform standard. 'Cause I think it's unjustifiable and it's very unfair to the people to say that if it's going to be a $500 inspection, but wait a second, they did everything at my house and checked the washer, they checked this, but over here they just went inside and looked in my tank and took one picture. If there's not a uniform standard, I don't think the fee is justifiable, which comes back to, is there a tiered system then?
Yeah.
I mean,
So I'll speak to the old ordinance here real quick. There was a very in-depth checklist with yes or no's and a required X amount of pictures, a drawing, and then attachments of the set drawing that we did, the measurements from their houses, etc., and then the pictures that we took. Then were all uploaded to the health department. It couldn't pass a review without all of the check boxes checked and the pictures taken.
so then do you also feel that And here's why. I'm kind of weird. I don't let strangers into my house, not even you, because I don't know you well enough.
Right.
Do you find it necessary to have to be intrusive enough? And for me, it would be intrusive. To have to go into someone's house and run every faucet, flush every toilet or otherwise. I just don't like strangers in my house.
Right. Tim.
I mean, I don't know. Is
obviously
that
with-
going to be a criteria? Do you think? Or let me put it this way: that's up to us. Is it a necessary criteria, or is flushing or running one sink sufficient enough to see if water's flowing?
Yeah, so an extensive locate everything on your property from
Yeah.
outside the house is going to reveal just about everything you've talked about that could happen.
Okay.
Let's imagine that you've got a 2-bathroom house, right?
Yeah.
1 bathroom, flush it, and I can see outside if the septic tank is full that things are coming into
Yeah.
it. Likewise, a kitchen sink on the other side of the house, we can actually tell if that's coming to your septic
So
tank.
like I could go inside and run my own water. You don't
There
have
you
to
are.
come on my house.
Sure.
I mean, not that you're not
Yeah.
invited. I'm just saying I
Yeah.
just don't like
No,
strangers
out
in
of
my
all
house.
of the inspections that I did, I don't think I was inside on hardly any.
Okay, that's what. And some people said that other Scots or whomever may have gone inside their house, and I'm just wondering how crucial
Was not
do
a
you
requirement.
feel? Okay, it was not. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
no.
Good. It's good to know.
Right. You had, the first part of that, of your question was unrelated to that. Do you remember what it was? What I felt about inspections and
Oh, the tiered
the
system.
tiered system. So,
For the level of inspection, how
yeah,
in
sure.
depth?
So, in a perfect world, as far as I'm concerned, a line in the sand is required. And we can hopefully tap the information from the health department. They've got records of who's got a septic system that has some age on it.
Yeah.
Or they have information that says, you know what, this house never has had a septic that we know of.
Yeah.
Now, it's unlikely, and we all know that. But once you have information of what is there, what is on the ground, and how old it possibly could be, then you can kind of make educated decisions as to what to do next, right? So there's folks who are getting septic systems installed every day. In fact, we're doing one today. That system, 5 years from now, will look no different than the way it does right now. We will recommend from a sergeant septic and excavating standpoint that it be pumped within 5 years. After that, we can actually figure out how often it needs to be pumped, given the same use. So unfortunately, requiring something be done at an X amount of years, whatever it may be, is super tough because of the use, because of people's habits, right? Medications, whether or not they have a garbage disposal, or whether or not they have a washing machine. So to make a blanket statement that just says, hey, everybody's got to pump their tank in 3 years, oof, that's super tough. And I'm a pumping guy.
Yeah.
Like, we make money by pumping septics, but we go to septics all the time that are nothing but water. And we'll say, hey, folks, you really don't need to get it pumped out.
Right.
Oh, wow, yeah, great. Well, we were told. And that's a lot of
And that was
what we
part
do
of
is
my next
educate.
part. I'm glad you brought that up. And this is for our knowledge on the board here as well, is that I had a big problem with the last version that at that time, my brand new septic in full put in by Wade Hartman. Excellent job. Health department was out there 3 times. I'm a weirdo. I called an attorney friend. I mean, hell, I had soil samples sent to Michigan State because that's just who I am. So it was mandated that I would have to have an inspection at 2 years old, but yet someone who had a system that was 1 year old, because it fell in line with when they finally passed it, and they had a brand new system, didn't have to. So from an inspector's perspective, like I said, for our knowledge, is it safe to say that a 10-year criteria for inspections, it doesn't matter if it's a 20-year-old system and if it's passed inspection, they're good for 10 years. And if you've been approved by the health department numerous times and it's brand new, they should be good for 10 years. Fair statement?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. And even to take it a little further,
Yeah.
a system that was inspected by the health department
Yeah.
could actually get another inspection at 5, or if you say 10 years, that's great.
Yeah.
These are new systems, you know what I mean? They're using new technology.
Right.
Then why inspect again? Maybe it's just a time
Sure,
stamped,
sure.
hey, we were here, we looked at it.
Yeah.
Everything's functioning properly. They didn't put a new house in over the top of it, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. And that's fair. I like, yeah.
Right. So yes, there's endless possibilities, all beginning with, let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Do you have a
Yeah.
septic? Is it functioning?
Thank you.
I had a couple things on that. The super intrusive inspection came initially, you might remember, you were at that meeting and I was too, where they wanted people from Bay City to come up and do them, run all the water everywhere. And that kind of faded, but the reason we had so many septic inspectors on the record was, the initial thought was we're gonna need them all because everybody's gonna be doing this. And I think there's 25 or 30 that are certified, maybe?
You're asking a question that actually would be better answered by the health department, but
Okay,
they
well, I
had to
mean-
renew, and renewing happened at the year anniversary.
Yeah.
I know I did, I could not speak to whether anybody else did.
Right, but you answered that they wouldn't accept a report unless all that information was in it anyway.
Absolutely.
So no matter who's doing it.
Yep.
Okay. Second and third thing, how many complete failures did you find? Where were they? And can you explain to everybody here on the board what a sludge test is?
Sure.
For years, that never came up in GLUA conversations.
Yeah. Again, quoting the data is something I've almost forgotten all about, right? But I'm going to say there was 9 failed systems, and the failure was septage on the ground or backing up into the house, direct discharge into the water table, and the majority of the tanks that we found, the majority of the failures that we found were just that, leaking tanks. Ones where when we pumped them out, they were literally taking on groundwater. Well, with that information that they're taking on groundwater, obviously when the hydraulics push down, you flush the toilet, it's actually weeping into the groundwater. So those were looked at from the health department standpoint as critical failures and needed to be done something with right away.
Location?
So yeah, right. Anywhere those systems that were leaking tanks were in the groundwater table, which in Lyon Township, miraculously enough, is right along the lakeshore. There's I had to bite my tongue there for a second, sorry. I don't think that there's any spots away from the lake shore that there was leaking tanks that we could tell were pulling on groundwater. There wasn't. So it's all around the lake shore. The ones that were surfacing sewage, now that was kind of sporadic. It was like throwing a dartboard or throwing blindly at a dartboard. They were everywhere. 9 systems, the majority, so we'll go with 5 around the lake shore, 4 away from the lake. And those were surfacing sewage. Backed up into the house, yeah. And we're talking about a very small percentage here. 9 out of 700.
Over 600?
700.
700 tests you did,
yeah.
and that's all there was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a sludge test is performed by a vertical column of plastic pipe. And you literally open up your septic tank and you stick this clear cylinder down into the contents, cap off the top, pull it up, and now you can actually examine. It just takes a cylinder shot of what's in your septic tank. It's known within the industry to pump your tank at 30% solids. So you take the overall depth of liquid and whatever's in there, add up the solids layer, and you can see it. It's very visible. You'll have a solids layer accumulating at the bottom, some at the top, and then more clear liquid in the middle.
So it's like plugging up a straw.
It's exactly like plugging up a straw. That's all it is. And then you can measure it. It's a graduated cylinder so that we can tell how much solids is in there. The industry standard says 25%. If your overall capacity of solids is at or above 25%, you get it pumped.
Question.
Yes.
That's great. I didn't really know that existed. So would it not make sense for us as a board to look at the idea that if there's something in place that says X amount of people, everyone has to have a pump out at 5 years, what would it cost the people for you to come out and do that simple sludge test? Because if I knew that, but now that I know that, and I'm coming up to 5 years, but I have a over 1,200 gallon tank for one person brand new, I'm not pumping it for that price when you could come over and if it's 50
Right.
bucks to sludge, and they're like, listen, you're not even at 10%.
There
Is that possible?
There's a wealth of information that we just got
Oh, okay.
from the health department about sludge tests.
Oh,
So some of what you're asking them, we'll end up talking
Okay.
about here.
Sure.
For one, yes, because where the relationship is it makes no sense to mandate a pump out at every 5 years if you do not need it. And the vast majority of seasonal use places around here, one suggestion is going to be, why not, after the initial inspection, do sludge test at 5 years. Determine if it needs a pump out before telling everybody they have to.
Yeah, that could certainly go into a plan for your tier style system.
Well, and here's why it just
Makes
brings up,
perfect
like,
sense.
real quick, 2 seconds, that when I didn't come up here very often back in the day, if that were mandated, sergeants came out once and they opened my tank, there wasn't but 2 inches of water in there at all. And if it were mandated, I would have to give it, and he didn't pump it, it wouldn't be $250.
Right.
And he's like,
Exactly.
there's nothing in here. I mean, I hadn't been up there once in a full year. I mean, there was just nothing, because I had it done just the prior season. So I think that's very fair
And
for
key,
something to
key
look
to
at.
this conversation is
Yeah.
he and I both got this information. The health department, I asked them last week, is there any way that you could incorporate sludge testing into your data, into your fetch data, so that we would be more educated about determining when somebody needed something pumped? I did not, I mean, recently they've been cooperative, surprisingly. Even more surprisingly, apparently there's a new director and they replied, basically, yes, they would work with us on that. So if sludge testing can be added to the fetch system, that's a huge thing going forward. After the initial testing, you could then incorporate in your 5-year inspection, to me anyway, if a sludge test is done and you're at 10%, you're good for another 5 years.
Yeah,
If you're at 20, you know, maybe things need to get looked at.
Yeah.
But there should, in my opinion, never be and never should have been a mandated 5-year pump out. But anyway, we just got that information, and that's good. That's really
And I'm
good.
all for pump outs, I just think there has to be
It's
a
when you need it,
reasonable.
when you need it.
And there would be a nominal fee, I'm assuming, for that test from you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the
You'd have a
full.
guy come
And-
out, we'd have to open up your tank, and
Yep.
maybe it's
Wasn't
big.
some of
maybe
that
it's-
built into this 3-tiered
Mhm.
thing that we created, where that first level of test was a lot less intrusive in checking everything, but pretty much find your tank and see what's going on with it?
Yeah,
Not that it would be this exact thing, but I can envision that going forward, we could end up with something that has variance, a variety of ways that you could have it checked based on your initial inspection.
right.
And then going forward from there. And if you're only here 3 weeks a year, 6 weeks a year, that should change things
Mhm.
in regard to mandating them to do anything.
Right.
The bottom line that we have, and we were all in agreement of, this has to be inspected and approved and on file with the health department. That makes it all okay. We gotta have a copy too, that's fine for here. But everything we do, Nick, this is gonna have to be approved by them. So I don't know how far away we are from that agreement. Some of the things that we had talked about before, Paul was having a difficult time getting through to them, understanding we wanted to try to do this, this, and this, and they said, maybe, but maybe not. Now he's,
It's looking
at least
better.
from the reports, he's making some better progress. And maybe that's along with your help as well. But as long as we're going in the right direction, this is a fine thing.
Also, based on this whole conversation, I had a thought the other day, and I don't know how difficult it would be. To me, it's not rocket science. I think it'd be really easy. I mean, the assessor has us all this information. So if you're looking at the difference between seasonal homes and non-seasonal homes, I mean, couldn't it be very easy? Who homesteads up here? If they homestead, more than likely they're year-round. Not everyone, because I was one of those people. I did homestead, and I didn't live up here full-time yet, but I could because I only owned the one home. But I mean, it'd be a very easy break it down and you know what I'm saying? There's those people are obviously using their tanks 24 hours a day for the most part.
Certainly
It would-
one thing
just
to
a thought,
consider,
Just
yeah.
a thought.
Yeah.
To Greg's point,
Yeah.
this recent notification from them about the sludge and the appearance that Taylor Irwin is now the director, not Steve King,
Oh,
seems to
Okay.
indicate a different direction that they may be going. That's just a guess. But to Greg's point, this was a hang-up, Greg. If we started to try to do something different, would they allow it to still be entered into that fetch system so that we could track everything and determine it? So up until 3 days ago, that was questionable. Now she apparently is pretty much saying, Yes, but we have to do the haulers have to do the testing, which actually makes sense. They're not gonna climb around the dirt and shove pipes in a septic tank. But if our haulers do that, they'll accept the data, or at least it appears that that's what will happen. So if your data says you're at 15%, 5 years later, if you get another check and it's at 15, then there was never any need for a pump out at 5 years. And I don't think we should have that in our policy as a mandate.
I have a novel idea. I talked to some people I know at the state. Michigan Health Code gave jurisdictional authority in 1978 for local health departments to implement, procedures, sanitary codes, and otherwise. Why don't we all collectively get together and finally put pressure on the Central Michigan District Health Department to do their duty and create a countywide septic ordinance that's uniform across the board within their jurisdiction? They have the right, it's in the health code, they just refuse to do it. None of this would be, all of us then, Garish, Lyon, everyone within their authority would be on the same page.
I'm with you 100% right after we do ours. I'm not wasting any time.
No, I know, I was just saying, like, there doesn't even have to be a conversation, we could all work together and get
To
together.
that point, though, I have the point of sale time of transfer that the board members who were present did not want to pass is directly from the health department for Isabella County. We could certainly pass that and then amend it if things were going, something wasn't working out right. But I also had ones here from not Antrim, 3 different other townships. There's a variety of ways that you can approach this, and the health department will still roll with you. So all of this stuff is not like set in stone. As we put pieces in or do things, we can amend it later. If they are unable to accept it in that way, we can change how we're doing it. To me, the thing needs to be flexible. And that's kind of what we're here today, talking about all the options. So the thing from the health department was fabulous. Oh, here it is right here. It's Glen Arbor, Milton Township. Actually, I'll read this. I asked them about what other townships do time of sale, point of sale, time of transfer. Glen Arbor and Milton have local health inspector make determinations and verify corrections when needed without township input. Secord Township has a local health inspection, make determinations, verify corrections, but Secord retains approval of the transaction with or without corrections. Brooks requires the inspection but does not specifically require their local health department to inspect. So there's a couple of different ways, because all of these, Steve King said, they got good points, they got bad points, but they're okay with all of that stuff.
Well, they should be, they won't do anything.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, it's true.
Other than me saying a few things, has anybody else got questions for Nick? Or Nick, you got anything else you want to say? It seems like I'm forgetting something here, but. Okay.
I might discuss just the fact that from a pumper standpoint, I think I heard you talking about, it's not a requirement that 5 years gets pumped. It's still okay to pump your tank every year or two, as we do many in the area.
Sure.
What we've found is that does help to keep roots at bay. So when we pump your septic tank, we absolutely take the roots that we can get out of the tank. That seems to help. The solids accumulation, there's a critical level there. So lots of the medications that we're on can kill the bacteria in your septic tank and then cause a rapid growth or a rapid accumulation of solids, which then...
Our medicines?
Yes, imagine that.
Oh, well, isn't that interesting?
They can actually make the organisms in that tank not work, and therefore the organic loading in your tank gets too high and up to the bottom of that outlet pipe, which then would cause you problems with your drain field. So proceed with caution. Pumping it every 5 years does usually catch that, but those who are educated would understand that it's time to get it checked every year or two, maybe. If they need it, or if they see required.
You know, I actually don't even know that question. I really don't. I just know when I feel like it's time to pump. What is the recommendation if it's a, what, standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 1,000-gallon tank? I mean, like, I have no idea.
I
Yeah.
think that sludge test is the basis.
But
Well,
if
you-
there
Or if you
wasn't
wanna
a
do it
sludge
sooner.
test.
So we
there-
don't sludge test often.
Yeah.
You know, it's not
Yeah.
even on our truck. When people
Yeah.
call us, it's because they want their tank pumped.
Yeah.
This is going to be a whole new idea, a concept around the lake. They'll have you had your septic pumped or checked. So the recommendation that we've used for decades is 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
And it's absolutely contrary to what you would think. If you're there all the time, then you can go 5 or 6 years between pumpings, especially because you've got a system that's probably taking your water and working the way that it should. The snowbirds, the folks that aren't here very often, use it for a couple weeks out of the whole summer. They use they organically overload that septic tank, and to the point where it actually builds up on itself. The bacteria has no time or energy to do its work, so then the next summer it does it again and again. And so usually the snowbirds are the worst, and
Oh, I wouldn't have thought that.
right, and they accumulate more solids. So
Wow.
too much information
Yeah.
maybe for this morning.
No, that's
No,
okay.
no, that's fine. Yeah, to me, the people who do not use it often, their home, should not be mandated. We can figure some way out to keep checking, to keep looking or do something. I know you and I had talked about, popping the lead and doing a sludge test was potentially under $100.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Especially if you got a
That's a
riser.
big difference
Takes
between
5
a pump out. So yeah, all of that.
Well, when you come to my
Be
house,
considered.
I not only have a riser, I had a wishing well built and sat right on top of
Cool.
it. So we moved the well, you move the lid, and you're in.
200.
Yeah, 300. Okay, anybody else on the board got any questions for Nick?
I'm just gonna go right here and I'll listen to the rest
Oh,
of your
thanks.
stuff.
I think we should take public comments on this before we move on, or no?
Well, I'd like to get the board comments and then listen to
Go
them
ahead.
next. So as far as Nick goes, he's done, with that. I have a couple things to say before we, go farther. I don't know if you guys have it, if you want to do a board comment section.
I'm good.
Now, and each take a turn on how we feel about this. I know you had all given me information. I had compiled a lot of it, and then I have some additional information, and might as well throw it all out there. That's what we're here for. Who would like to start with what they think should happen?
My notes. See, it's on my phone.
I can go for the sake of,
Let me see if I can find it.
entering and tracking the sludge is huge. The 3-tiered system that we initially had set up, along with, if you were on the lake, potentially try and pump it out within 2 years, but that not being a mandate, that was an ask. The different point of sale time of transfers from different townships, almost any one of them would do as a starting point. All of the rest of this stuff that we're talking about is almost a separate issue to me, and that's why I proposed initially point of sale time of transfer is just a building block. From there, we can start looking at all the other things. In conjunction with the sludge test, when I ran, I probably said 50 times. My concept of this is that there is no crisis on this lake because there isn't. The data that comes from the Clean Lakes Monitoring Plan indicates that the nutrient level has essentially been exactly the same for 23 years now. To me, there's a concept about what's called the big lie, and GLUA was using a lot of this. As far as propaganda, if you're going to lie, lie big. They discounted CLMP stuff initially for a year. Keep it simple. Repeat. People can't tell the difference between facts and familiarity. Blame the other side. Provoke outrage. Get resentment going. Crisis issues must be life and death. Good versus evil. There's no crisis in this lake. Emotion. A person gets emotional about stuff. Go emotional. Pander. Praise anybody who supports you and demonize all who disagree. No limit. The victors are the victors. Do whatever you can to win. Now, does any of that sound familiar in the glue of wars to you guys? Because I know I experienced a lot of this when presenting other data. I look at this honestly as I'm here to represent the 700 and some people who put me in office, and the people who come to these meetings to disagree certainly have a right to express their opinions. I am not obligated to act on their opinions. I am obligated personally that I feel I need to act on the people's opinions who put us here. And after many rallies and many discussions, I know why I'm here, and that's where I'm going. And I'm speaking for myself. The other board members can do what they want, of course. But for all the people that that come to these meetings and then say it should be this way, this way, this way, I know they didn't vote for me. I know they didn't put me here. And I'm not going to respond and act accordingly to that. I'm going to continually act and favor the people who put me in this position. So on this whole aspect, if we do septic inspections, I would like to throw out there that the whole point of this is then to do additional studies that are 4-step scientific method, that match the Clean Lake Monitoring Program studies, do them at least 6 years like Eagle recommends, repeat them in the same places like it should have been, discount spot studies, they don't prove anything. We can set this in motion, and in 6 years, if this isn't working, then we can talk about a sewer. I'll be dead and gone by then. I'm trying to hopefully set something in motion that uses science going forward, not all of those things I just read to jerk people around. So my suggestions are that let's start with passing that point of sale time of transfer for well and septic and amend it as needed. Recent discussions, a couple of the board members, the well inspection should be in there for point of sale time of transfer, probably not in the septic inspection. Why would we getting intrusive if we're not really worried about it at the point that we're doing the septic inspection? These are my opinions, of course. Continue to work with Central Michigan District Health to the extent that we can, which just grew, track it ourselves if we must. Right now it's looking we may not have to track it ourselves. If we can get this stuff into the fetch system, that's great. Our focus is to deal with the systems in the fetch system that show that they're not on record. That's where we would start by sending letters. The 2-year lakefront inspection based on the data that Nick collected, I think that's still an ask. I'd love to see people understand that that's a good idea. The short-term rentals already have a much more demanding full inspection every 3 years in them, at least in our draft. Work out the sludge test for who and why. Figure out what that's going to take to serve our residents who are in a position where maybe that's a better idea. Do a fertilizer setback if it's not zoning. Give me a quick answer on that. 30 feet setback fertilizer on the water, is that zoning?
It's a use.
Okay. Keep working out the details of how septic ordinance will affect our residents' time schedules for new versus old systems. And we can add pieces to it. We can amend pieces out. We can include the penalty set up for the point of sale time of transfer. If we do that first, we can work that in. And then, not unlike the budget, I think we should meet every 3 weeks and keep hammering on this and get these details worked out. Some of the things to consider would be that the health department is now a lot more agreeable. We can work with them. Mr. Worthington, the director for the Clean Lakes, the water infrastructure loans, I got in touch with him and he's on board with helping us with the grant submission help. I ran and said we would try and match grant money with the expectation of when you should have these inspections all done by. To me, that is 4 years. It'll take 3 years for grants to come to fruition. And there is no crisis. It took us 80-some years to get to where we're at right now. We don't need to jam it down everybody's throat like the previous board and demand that in our minds we got a 2-year fix on it. It doesn't need to happen that way. So that's my input, and I know you all each have some of your own. That's all I can throw out there for right now.
Well, I don't know if it's my turn or not, but I'll step up to the plate. And I think every one of us had proposals that we'd like to see included in this new ordinance. Many were included in the old ordinance. They just needed to be tweaked a little bit. But Supervisor Paul, you had offered to put together a package if we all had our opinions. We gave you our opinions, and now you've decided not to do that package. I don't know why, because we can add or subtract from that package. Every one of us had the point of sale time and transfer included in our stuff because we think it's very important. We just don't think it's enough to start with. We want a lot more than that. We want it sooner. We want these inspections done within a couple of years. All of them. Again, as Paul pointed out, that was his opinion, this was mine. I did a little trouble, and I asked each guy to submit some of the things that he thought were important to them and the constituents in their area, and we came up with quite a pile. A lot of them were duplications, obviously. But Nick has answered questions for us. I think this new information from the health department is a big deal. That'll help us a lot if they're really willing to work with us. And they can let us know what's feasible for them to say, okay, we'll send the inspectors, we'll do this, we'll get the permission, we'll get them on file, and that's all I'm really asking for. I just didn't want the Cadillac, the $18,000 to $20,000 version of a septic system when you don't need it. And if things are fine, things are fine. But mine's pretty simple. Mine's pretty simple. I have a lot of things, but time is very important to me. I don't think we should wait 4 years, 5 years, 3 years for the inspection to be done. If the inspections in some places showed they needed immediate change, then that had to be done. And that's up to the homeowner. But yeah, and I don't want to speak for everybody. I know that we all have our own pet little things that we want done on this thing, but number one is timing with me. I don't want to wait forever. In 6 years, Paul, you may be right. You may be dead and gone.
Might not be that long.
I don't plan to be dead, but I'll definitely be gone. You know, a 1-year term is enough for me, or a 1 4-year term is enough for me, but I'm going to do my best for everybody in this township, and that's the end of my piece.
I'll go next, I guess.
Let me throw one thing. I know you and Kevin Gregg had both asked, to try and put it all together. One of the reasons I brought this, and it's not all, is to try and get the point across again. This is not a simple thing to create something for everybody else beyond point of sale time transfer. Now we're getting the input. You gave me the input. I looked at it, and you're right. A lot of it is redundant, from us. The new information coming in. I just want to say that similar to the budget, what seems to be a simple thing, why aren't you getting that done? It's a lot more complicated on my end of it to actually do it.
I would just add though,
I guess I'm not going next.
with the health department, I think anybody who's not registered with the health department, it should be done within a couple years. I mean, it makes sense if you're not inspection, I would think. Just so you're on record, on file. That's really,
Well, if we get to the fetch system, we will be able to determine who's not.
because I'm
on
sure
file.
there are people on file now, right, that you've inspected. So, give everybody a couple years to get theirs inspected and on file, and then that's all. All the rest of this stuff is fine, you guys are talking about. I would just like to add that, that's all.
Similar to what Garish was looking at, if we can get to the fetch system and stay in it, which now looks possible based on that letter or that email, first thing we can do is determine who's not on record and send them letters. That's the first step.
But give them time, but you have to get at least inspected within a
Yeah, again,
reasonable time frame.
if you have an inspection and Nick can probably tell you, if it's a fail, you don't have time. From that point on, you don't have time. The health department's gonna want you to do something.
It's 10 days, right? If it's a
10 days.
violation of sanitary code, it's 10 days.
That's why the issue with the grants, which is also rolling well now too. Amanda's doing the tutorials, Mr. Worthington's on board.
That's fine, but we
Yeah,
can't count on the grants. I'm just
No, I'm saying, but if you tailor both of them, the time frame to me should be like similar for both. If you end up demanding inspections at 2 years and it's a complete fail, but no money to help you will come for another year, then the health department's gonna say, you got 10 days or you need to install a holding tank, right?
Again, that's a health department question. In the past, you get 10 days to obtain the septic permit, replacement permit, and then you have 1 year to replace the system.
1 year, okay, I thought it was 6 months.
No.
On some of the point of sale stuff, it says 6 months.
Yep, for repairs to be made, 6 months, yeah. Time of transfer, point of sale, those are a little bit different because there's money on the table. You can't sell your house.
Okay,
till
well, a
this is
year is a
done.
lot better than 6 months.
Right.
Okay, I'm running out of battery life here.
Go ahead, I'll shut
Here,
up
I'll
for a
just
while.
put a new one in.
If it's okay. This was my baseline. There's a lot more to this, but I just kept it very simple. And like I said, this is just the base because I've been saying this well before any elections or anything else. Number one, all homes and septics that are not on record with the Central Michigan District Health Department have 18 months to comply and get their septic registered with the township and the Central Michigan District Health Department. It is not the township's duty to police where your septic is. Be responsible, step up, find your septic, get it registered. Number two, the point of sale time and transfer will be included in the general septic ordinance with its own subsection and guidelines as put forth by the board. So it'll be built into that. Number three, short-term rentals will be included in the general septic ordinance with its own subsection to reference the short-term rental ordinance and rules and guidelines concerning septics and pump outs. Number four, all septics permitted by the Central Michigan District Health Department will not be required to have an inspection until the 10-year anniversary from the install date. Septics that are less than 10 years old, will be required to have a pump out at the 5-year anniversary of their install and every 5 years thereafter, unless they already had one on file at the effective date of the ordinance, then it'll be 5 years from that date. Any septic 10 to 20 years old will be required to get an inspection within 24 months unless an inspection is on record, and then every 10 years thereafter from that date on the anniversary. Any septic 10 to 20 years old will be required to have a pump out within 24 months and every 5 years thereafter, unless the homeowner can verify that the date of the last pump out within the 5-year window is on record, and then every 5 years from that date thereafter. Number 8, any septic over 20 years old will be required to have an inspection within 18 months unless an inspection is on record and verified by the Central Michigan District Health Department, and then every 10 years thereafter from that date. Number 9, any septic over 20 years old will be required to have a pump out within 18 months and every 5 years thereafter unless the homeowner can verify the date of the last pump out within that 5-year window, and then 5 years thereafter from that date moving forward.
Well, that's a lot of mandates that you have.
You know, that's very eerily similar to what the previous board did that got them voted out of here.
Yeah.
Well,
But thank you for the input anyway. Some of that sounds good.
I think it's reasonable and fair. Put the responsibility on the homeowners.
It's changed my opinion on some things. I'm like everybody here. I want clean water. I love the lake. I'm a Ross Common County guy from birth, so I want clean lakes. I want clean water, and I want fairness to the people. I'm in favor of point of sale, time of transfer, or time of transfer, doing that. I'd like to see all the documented septic tanks
Sorry, could you
documented with
speak
the
up?
health
Could
department.
you please speak up? I can't hear you.
I'd like to see all the non-documented septic tanks get registered with the health department or wherever it is to do it. I'm thinking probably 2 years after we do the thing, it's gonna give people enough time. I really hated the last board crammed that bill down and gave people 6 months. I want people to have enough time to be able to prepare and get stuff done. So I'd like to see non-documented septic tanks and stuff get documented probably within 2 years. I'm not sold on having to have them pumped every 5 years now. I think a sludge test or something like that might be the best way to go. So I'm kind of leaning that way. That's basically what I have to say.
Thanks, sir.
So can we put this together? And then, you know, maybe give it to each board member to look over, and then, I mean, I don't wanna keep this thing going, like, we've got the information now, let's, a month, meet, and maybe vote on some of this.
I can tell you what we can do is make 2 motions, one of them being, let's have one, what was the current saying, one big happy bill in a month, or my opinion, we need to meet at least once, if not twice, before we actually have a final product. I can make both of those motions and see which way the board feels.
How hard is it to add, like say we just started off with point of sale time of transfer, okay, just because that's what you've been talking about doing. How hard is it to add more
Not out at all, it's just
things
amending it.
onto it? I mean, is that just a board vote if you say, okay, we got point of sale time of transfer and that begins now, and then 6 months from now you say, we want to add inspections to this, is that just a board vote, or does it have to go to planning commission and all this other stuff?
No, it's board vote as addendums to point of sale time of transfer, or we could create a different thing that is a septic ordinance. I think you were talking about adding components to one. We could create a separate one, we could amend what we got.
And part of that question, Steve, is if it's brought forth, and most likely would be Act 246 of 1945, the township, then it would be a board vote to amend. However, Garish is going to run theirs through the planning commission. You don't necessarily have to. And if you start with that procedure, any amendments, you won't have to go to hearings and all that other stuff because it's not zoning. But yeah, you have to go through the process of amending it properly with vote and whatnot, you know, unless you decide to ask the planning commission. And I think they're going to the planning commission to get advice and to compile stuff for them. But we don't necessarily have to go through the planning commission, especially under Act 246. So
Initially, almost a year and a half ago, we were communally talking about passing point of sale time of transfer and adding to it. It's not that hard, and it gives you time to figure out exactly what you're doing before you try and throw it all out there in one big glorious bill.
well, if we can't even direct that people that aren't on record get on record something that simple with POS, TOT, I'm like, I mean, what's that going to be, another year down the road? I mean, just doesn't.
See that, if we do it in sections, point of sale time and transfer is just one piece. The other stuff that we need to work out, we certainly talked it through today, it came closer together on some of it. The time frame is going to be an issue we'll probably have to negotiate. It appears that we can add the sludge test into it. To me, these are things that take time and thought. It cannot, but if we do a point of sale time and transfer and add things to it, we have time to put thought and effort into each piece that we add. I think the fetch system, my understanding is it's up and running. The second we start point of sale time and transfer, if I'm correct, we can access the fetch system.
The health department has obviously all that information.
Yeah.
It's callable. You can request anything you want via phone or email from them. As far as blanket, we need to know who has and who hasn't, all within Lyon Township. That's coming. I don't know where they stand on it.
But we can do the legwork and check on the map and see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to me, point of sale time and transfer, get in the fetch system, send letters out to everybody as fast as we recognize that they're not on record. build from there. That's one option anyway. Until we can determine whether, I favor 4, a lot of people favor 2, grant writing 2.5 maybe to fruition. 36 months pops in my head as maybe being something rather than 2 years or 4 years.
Grants for what? To pay for people's inspections?
No, to have things done by.
A septic ordinance in 3 years?
No, the inspections.
Oh. Well, how many, I'm just curious, how many homes, I should ask around, see if we can find it. How many homes do we think sold in the last year? So we go through all of this and all this talk to pass a POS-TOT for 3 homes.
It's only
So
a
it's
piece.
covered 3 homes, and we're starting nowhere,
Yes.
basically.
But it's a foundation, it's a start.
That's the point,
And
yeah.
then
And
it's
you can,
foundation, you got the foundation laid, and then you
That's no
start building
foundation
on
to
it.
me.
okay, and we all have our opinions. The one thing that is a little different is it's more intrusive, and it should be at a sale, and includes wells. Not really sure everybody's on board on not including the wells in the septic inspections. Personally, have leaned in the last week and a half here that why is it even in there in a septic inspection?
Here's a thought.
The proximity of your well to your neighbor's septic field or yours is pretty much your business, as is the quality of the water. What we want to know is where's your septic system at and is it functioning?
It's not your business. That has to be approved by the health department. They
No, I'm
map it all
saying to
out.
include, point of sale time of transfer includes well and septic. To include well and septic, both, in additional things that we do for the rest of the township. I don't know that we need to include the well in that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just find it kind of strange, if we're gonna eventually pass a short-term rental ordinance, we're gonna mandate them to have their rentals pumped on a strict schedule, say. Just as many people that have their homes out there have parties every weekend too, and they're using them times. So we're gonna say, we're gonna hold off and you're not gonna have to get an inspection. But people who rent, we're gonna force you into inspections. I don't think that's fair to the people.
You're absolutely correct. It's in there based on the presumption that if they get heavy use, we're ensuring that when they start to go to heavy use, it doesn't fail and then they're pounding the heck out of it. If they have to get that inspection done initially and then every 3 years, yeah, you're right. Like somebody said to me, that my neighbor down the road, they don't rent, but they have more people there
Yeah.
all summer long than anybody who rents.
I'll make a note, no extensive parties for Tim.
Yeah. Like I said, there's
you
a
can come
lot
over,
going
Amy.
on here. There's a lot in this, and we can do a great job and set an example for this county by taking all these things into account, bringing the newest information to it, create new stuff. With the Central Michigan District Health Department, a point of sale time and transfer will be the first one in Roscommon County. If we do it right, we can do this well, serve residents, and in the end, not be backtracking too much going, oh my God, that didn't work out. I don't think that's gonna happen if we get in a hurry. But I agree, we need to do, I'd like to have at least 1 meeting, maybe 2, and have something right then. And I can certainly put together all of the gray areas that we're talking about here. Yeah, I wanna slow down, you want me to hurry up. We gotta get in the middle somehow.
I'm not hurrying, I'm just frozen.
Oh, you can turn them down.
It's cold.
It's cool.
All right, well, great discussions. Anybody else on the board got anything else to say? We can turn it loose to the public and hear what they have to say about this stuff.
Real quick question, because I watched one of your other meetings I couldn't make. Is POS-TOT even an option? Is that on the table? Or is that not even, I mean, for you it is, but if it's not, I mean, did you guys motion already to even consider that?
Yeah.
I think you did.
Yeah, it
Okay.
did not go in favor of we need to have one big beautiful bill, and here we are talking about that. Point of sale time and transfer has been what I suggested as a building block since day one. And I will certainly put it on an agenda to consider. I think it's,
Side.
Going forward,
Yep.
again, I will be dead and gone, but the amount of times the point of sale time of transfer catches up with homes in this area and squares them away going forward, I'm okay with that. Money's on the table, that's the time to do both and do it hard. Anybody else on the board got anything for right now? All right, well, let's break protocol a little and have some public comment. Try and keep it under 3 minutes if you could, and then we'll go through the rest of the agenda. It's all on tape, so it ain't like we'll discount anything.
Okay. Can I public comment on anything or just on the second thing?
Well, keep it on this, because there'll be another public comment on the end.
Because I have to leave pretty soon, and I have a couple things. I'm always adamantly against point of sale, and only because I think that punishes the people who sell their homes, and it doesn't take care of the problems of the people who have septic tanks for 20 years and never get them pumped. And, you know, it's a whole realtor thing. If you're going to do a septic tank ordinance, do a septic tank ordinance. So you're gonna do a point of sale, and then you're gonna go ahead and do a whole nother entire septic tank ordinance. Just to say I'm doing something, you guys have a basis right now of your septic tank ordinance. What I'm hearing is that you have an idea of where you need to go. You've talked to the health department. Nick gave a wonderful presentation on what you need to do. What I say is you get together and you just do it. Put an ordinance together. Don't do point of sale. What is the point of sale just to say you're doing it? Which I think just punishes the people who sell their homes. Like you have people who sell their homes every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and every single time they sell that, that has to do a point of sale. What good is that? You have somebody who sells their home in 5 years, they've already had it inspected, they've already had it done, and now they have to do it again. To me, in my opinion, that's just a ludicrous idea. If you're gonna do a septic system, and I am 100% behind that, and I think that everybody needs to be inspected and everybody needs to be pumped, but I think point of sale is ridiculous, and that's just my point. Can I just say one more thing on another topic really quickly, because I've got it down.
Yeah, keep it quick.
The real reason that I'm here is that I understand that the board has decided to put in new pickleball courts, and I'm here to say that I'm adamantly against doing that, and I'm going to give you the reasons why. One, you have X amount of open space in Park 27. That's the only space you have left. You put those pickleball courts in, and you have now taken away any opportunity to do things like a zip line, or a community garden, or shuffleboard, or a track with exercise equipment. But the biggest issue I have with this is the people that are pushing for the pickleball courts, most of them don't even live in Lyon Township. They are not the ones who pay for the recreation or the millage. They are not the ones who have supported the parks. It's one group of people who are there from 8 o'clock in the morning to 11:30 in the morning, and then they're gone. So you're going to have 4 tennis courts / pickleball courts. They're going to sit there empty for most of the day and on weekends. And you have now lost all of that section of land that you have in Park 27. The other thing that I think is even more vital, and Paul, you kind of said this. You said, 700 people voted for me, and so I'm going to do what those people want. Well, nobody on this board surveyed the people of Lyon Township to say, here's some ideas of things to put in Park 27. What would you like to see? I would venture to guess, if you had a list of things and pickleball courts were on there, most of the people in Lyon Township would say, we already have tennis courts, we really don't need any more tennis courts. They are paying for the millage that supplies the parks and recreation. It's park, recreations, and cemetery. That's what that millage is. That millage comes up due in 2 years, in 2027, on your watch. People are overtaxed, they're taxed to death, and they're going to have to really decide what they want to do, or whether they want to renew that millage or not. And I think the board needs to seriously consider what you plan to put into Park 27, and you really need to consider asking the people of Lyon Township, the people who pay for all of this stuff, all of the recreation and all of the other things that go into the parks, they are the people that need to have input. Not the people from Garish, not the people from Denton, not the people from Crawford. And you can say what you want, but I know the people who do that pickleball on those mornings are people that are not from Lyon Township. And I know that for a fact. And so As a recreation person, and I am like passionate about recreation in this township, I would hate to see the bulk of what we have in that park taken up by 2 more pickleball courts when we already have 2 full-size tennis courts. One more thing, and I'm going to try to do this quickly. Those 2 tennis courts cost $82,000. Now I am hearing this conversation that they can put these 2 pickleball courts in for $40,000. We put those 2 tennis courts in 2014. Now, all of you know what the cost of materials are like right now. I cannot imagine the quality of the courts that they plan to put in there for $40,000 to take out of our recreation budget to put into that.
Okay, let me clear a couple things up for you. The $6,000 is for temporary rollout nets and some restriping, not taking away the tennis courts. What happened is that they came to a proposal with us to start Friends of Lyon Township back up in order to start searching for grants up to the tune of $60,000 to do improvements out there. They would not take over on anything. Tennis isn't going anywhere. If they can get fruition out of the grant money, we would look at additional space there where they could put another one there if they can come up with the money. The surveys for the What Do You Want Parks and Rec, I have them, I looked at them, 32 of them. Every one of them says more pickleball. It is not them, it is like softball leagues. People travel all around and play, it brings people here. So we agreed to do the $6,000, and then if you want to go nuts and get grant money, we'll talk later.
Are those surveys Lyon Township taxpayers?
They were the ones on file here from the board. The blue forms that you see that were around. As with all surveys, you have to watch out. You do that and they can be dominated by a certain group of people, absolutely. Thank you though, I get it.
Yeah, it's a huge concern for me.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Any other public comment on, especially on the septic stuff for today?
Thank you for listening.
That was it? You had to hang all that time?
Yeah, I really did, because I'm passionate.
Okay, I get it. Well, you're on tape, that's good.
Good seeing you.
Yes, Patty, come on up.
They're going to the bar.
Hello, Patty Dennis, Lyon Township. I want to thank the board for having some thoughtful discussion about the septic ordinance, because I'm happy to hear that it's in process. I'm curious when the public has access to your draft, because like you're talking about stuff that I am not familiar with, right? You know, that's in your 3 tiers or whatever. So for those of us that just sit in the audience, we don't really understand that unless perhaps, so I'm wondering if we can have a copy, or I could get a copy.
I tell you what, if you email me, I'll make sure you get one. Part of the
Okay.
problem is the webpage. Things were getting put on the webpage and then dropped off. And I just talked with them the day before yesterday. We're going to fix all of that. But the short-term rental draft, the point of sale, time of transfer, they were on there. And then as you scroll down announcements, if you get more announcements ahead of it, they're dropping off at the bottom. So Jeanette spent some time trying to put things in other places. And it's so, you probably have been there, it's so confusing, it's ridiculous.
Well, I just looked just now, you know, on my phone at under the septic, you know, and it says on hold or whatever.
Right,
And there's nothing under there that is relevant, so.
After Jeanette left, I spent, 3 days ago, I went in there and spent an hour looking around, and I'm just like, oh my God,
Yeah,
this is
So-
nuts.
thank you. I will email you.
But if you email me, I can get them to you,
Perfect.
you know, directly.
I will do that. And then a couple of you mentioned, you know, trying to figure out usage and things like that, and having that be a determinant for, you know, a regular schedule of some sort. And I guess I'm curious about whether or not you want to be in the business of trying to determine use per property. I think that would be a nightmare to try to determine. So that's my word of caution about that. And then, I guess, you know, I think I have concerns about the point of sale and time and transfer. I mean, I know it's a start, but it's like a it's, like you said, the turnover of properties is very limited per year. So, you know, you may be dealing with less than 1%. You know, I don't even know what it would be. So I encourage you to do much more than that, because I do think that we need to get started and not wait. And I also would like to, you know, if you do it in these stages with amendments, I think that's going to be really more confusing for the public, because it's hard enough to get accurate information out to the public about what you're doing. And if you do this, and then now you add this piece to it, and now you add this piece to it, I think there will be a lot of people that will be very confused about what's going on. And so I think it needs to be kind of a package that is reasonable, that would be relevant for the next 5 to 10 years, let's say, so that you can roll it out and so that you can educate people on what's going on. Because I guarantee that there are people that still don't know what's going on, that the old ordinance was canceled, and, you know, all these other things. So I encourage you to consider a whole package, not a, here's this piece, and now we're going to add this piece later, and now we're going to add this piece later. That's all. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks, Patty.
I'm gonna, if anybody wants to speak, go ahead. I'm gonna turn the air conditioning down a little bit. The point of sale time of transfer specifically outlines some issues that you just addressed. And when we started this process, and the health department was somewhat adversarial with us, the point of sale time of transfer was the common ground we could find with them. I certainly don't have a problem with it, as you probably heard. But since we started discussing that and they realized that we were not out of our minds, now we have a pretty good working relationship. But that was one of the reasons that it started. Anybody else got anything they would like to say? You can go right ahead. I don't suppose you want it colder, do you? Good Lord.
I actually have a quick question, but I guess it's more directed at Ed. Can I do that? For the short-term rentals, because you guys were talking about how, oh, Amy Mason, Lyon Township, sorry guys. But you guys mentioned that they would have a higher accountability, they'd have, you know, more in-depth standards to meet. But if I understood you correctly, the ones that are being used on a regular basis are getting the proper bacteria, so would that really be mandatory? Like, if they're,
Good
do you know
question,
what I'm
Amy,
saying?
yeah. So you're teetering a line between abuse and normal use.
Okay.
So, right, we've sized the septic system, you know, that the picture of a house that you're talking about on Higgins Lake, it's got all these bedrooms, a bunch of people probably going there. The system, if it's up to date, is sized on the amount of bedrooms it has. And that was assuming 2 persons per bedroom every day. And each person uses X amount of gallons. So, 3-bedroom house, 6 people. Well, for rentals and short terms, I'm not very familiar with, but you may have already mandated how many people can be in a house depending on the amount of bedrooms.
Two per bedroom plus 2 is what the draft is.
That's the draft, sure.
Plus 0.
So
Well, that's
if-
what the draft is.
If they stayed with the amount of people per bedroom of being 2, then it would be reasonable to think that the septic system is going to function the way that it should. Abuse would be the only reason that we would need to pump more frequently is because we assume it's being abused. I don't know how you police that.
Right,
So-
and that makes sense, because I've seen rentals that are 3-bedroom, and they say 12 to 18 people per capacity. Okay, so, you know, that would make sense if that's gonna be.
Yeah, there's places by me, actually not too far from you. You know, it's a place that's been there for 30 years. Hey, I'm gonna turn it into a rental. Okay, great idea. They start going and their septic field goes to hell. As with people who buy property here and then start living here and using it, same thing happens, you know. The intention was to make sure that they had a complete inspection first and then every couple of years in case it was limping in the first place, and now they're pounding the heck out of it. And maybe that won't be in there in the end. That was all in a draft. Any other public comments? And Lord knows we got to roll.
Let's get on to,
Okay,
road commission.
I suppose we could make a motion that we move on the agenda to the road commission work plans and signing them so that Neil can get out of here.
Yeah. Probably had enough today.
I'll make that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of having that done next, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. All right, Neil, are you awake? So the deal is, there are three specific road work. The 5-year plan, we were okay with the three specific things here that we need to sign. I will make a motion that this board approve the agreements for the local road improvement. There are 3 pages here. Do we have a second on that?
Now second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? These are the same things that were flying around a week or so ago. Is there any discussion on it from the board members? Okay, we can end the discussion then. So in order to move these projects forward, we need to sign them. So I have a copy right here, Clerk Pern, where it says, as supervisor for Lyon Township, I will sign it. Oh, I'm sorry, yes. So as far as approving these, Clerk Pern, could we do a roll call? Because there's certainly a lot of money involved in here.
Treasurer Hobbs,
Yes.
trustee Detmer,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
Yay.
supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
clerk Byrne, yes.
Okay, the motion carries. So the agreement itself, 3 pages. We have to sign all 3 pages because there are 3 specific sets of work to be done in 3 areas. I'm going to start by signing the first one here. Now, Neil, do they need to be witnessed all together or one at a time? The 3 pages. For our signatures, each one has a witness on it for all 3 pages. Do we need to witness them one at a time, or?
No, you could just sign all 3 and then whoever can just witness.
All right, so I will sign all 3 as far as the supervisor part.
Then the witnesses can be any of the trustees, right?
Yeah, anybody, but then you get it next after me, and you sign.
Let's have Amy witness.
Sure, yeah.
Get the public involved.
Today's date is the 25th.
My grandson's 4th birthday.
Cool.
Yeah?
Great age, you can still catch them. It's all downhill after that.
Not after 4 days. It's tough. But he got a new big boy bed. Like that.
Cool.
Instead of a crib. I'm still in a crib though.
All right, Clerk Pern, if you want to sign those, then we'll get some witness action on them.
What do you want for witnesses?
He can,
Okay.
other people
Whatever you
here,
want.
and whoever's in this room, do it happen.
Thank you.
Doesn't seem like that turned it down much, does it? It's freezing in here.
It is a little chilly. sign his? You're good,
We
right?
approved it.
Can we get it signed and get a copy so that way we can just solidify it? and-
Sure, I thought you signing it here was all that was
No, you guys gotta sign it too.
on the last page.
It should be the fourth to last page. One before where you're at. Well, I was like,
Oh,
are you
man.
guys gonna sign it real quick?
Well, we motioned to approve
And
it
I didn't wanna say
generally.
anything, I didn't wanna be rude, but I'm like, we just need a signature.
I'm really sorry that you had to.
Nick's probably
I mean, I learned a lot about the septic
think I
stuff,
should
though.
go.
I mean, that's good information as a homeowner with a septic, you know?
That was good, you had good information on that.
You really did, you presented it clearly.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm available every day. Actually, yeah, I have, but I will more, you bet. I don't ever say no to the opportunity to talk.
Enough about that.
Here,
I would
whip
drop
your
my
John Hancock on
fine,
that
Jack.
part. Yeah, I like how you artfully protected the right to keep pumping. You're well versed at that. I like it. But yeah, you would probably remember years ago when we were doing this with the previous board, and they want to bring people in from everywhere, and I'm going. I think you even said at that point, somebody said, well, how do you know if they're bad? I can tell from the truck.
Do you need more signatures on that?
There's just 2 spaces, I think that's all.
Two's good.
Okay,
Yeah,
You should be good to go after
So-
waiting for an hour.
so we just need a copy of it, right?
I'll make you a copy right now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm gonna make another motion that we move through
Hold
the,
on, you got the road commission done?
It's right here.
It's right here.
All signed, when it's done.
so you gotta sign it and get back to us once it's signed from you, or leave it here signed?
No, we will do it at our board meeting tomorrow night, and then probably next week I'll get it back from, after they do the minutes.
All right, thank you, sir, for your patience.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All that for a signature.
See you.
Okay, for the sake of the people who hung in there this long, I'll make another motion that we move. Number 6 was the road work plans. We can move through 7, 8, and 9 right now while we're there. Get those done, then we'll come back to the other things that might take a little time. So I'll make a motion that we move to 7 and follow through consecutively to 8 and 9 on the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a second. Any board discussion on that change? End the discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Okay. Number 7, which is what you've been waiting for. Approve the hiring of Jerry L. Music as firefighter recruit and Samuel Mason as firefighter recruit cadet. I certainly have no problem with this. I'm overjoyed that they're willing to serve. I will make a motion that this board approves the hiring of Jerry L. Music as firefighter recruit, Samuel Mason as firefighter recruit cadet. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on it from the board? We'll end the discussion. So there is money involved in the pay, so Clerk Pern, could we have a roll call, please?
Supervisor Bertrand,
Here, yes.
trustee Monet,
Yay.
treasurer Hunt,
Yes.
trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Clerk Pern, yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Great. And remind him that I keep telling him he's gonna be the next supervisor in about 10 years.
I'm bidding it to send it.
Yep.
Now you can go.
He's in Pennsylvania.
All right, cool. All right, and thank you for supporting him in all the ways you do. You have a fine young man there. I know we've had many conversations. He's a great kid.
Oh, that
If he
kid is
doesn't
an
make it
eating
as a
machine.
if he doesn't
I
make it as
watched
a
him eat 6
firefighter, he's gonna
hot
make it
dogs,
as a
for
hot
God's
dog
sakes.
eater.
He ate hot dogs
I
like a
never seen a kid
savage.
put so many back.
He says, my mom doesn't feed
Well, you know,
me.
he's got a whole nother year of school. He's only going into senior year, so.
Yeah.
He's been a pleasure, Amy, thank you.
Who left? Oh, that's Anthony's. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's not let him leave without that.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. Okay, number 8 is approve the placement of the lake trout fish statue in Lyon Township at Phoenix Park. I had a long conversation with Tracy at the Higgins Lake Roscommon Chamber yesterday. We're going to have to put some thought into this thing in order to protect it from vandalism. I just want to throw it out to you guys that we're probably going to have to go down there and look and see what we, thank you, sir. Don't forget you got your thing under the chair. And put some time and thought collectively. Like one of these days, all of us need to go down there together and look. It's a beautiful thing, and if you leave it out there in the middle of nowhere under no protection, it's going to get trashed. You know that's going to happen.
They'll take our fish.
So there's a couple of options, and we're going to have to start considering it. Just want to give you a heads up on that. So this was written as approve the placement. It's going to be more like we need to go down there and figure out what a placement is.
Is it done? Is it ready?
No, it is not done yet. St. Helen put it out on a main street. They put their bluegill out on a main street under an awning cover right in front of God and everybody. So if somebody was screwing with it, you'd see it.
Yeah.
We put this thing in Phoenix Park, ain't nobody gonna see nothing. So it has to be visible from the lake because it's involved in the lake tour for kayaking. And then from the road, people should be able to park and take pictures by it with the lake in the background. I got a couple options that she had pictures of. We're gonna have to look at it and figure out how to make it as safe as we can make it and hope for the best. It's gotta be up in the air, or kids will be playing on it. It is not a solid thing, about 110 pounds fiberglass. Somebody wants to do damage to it, they'll be able to do it. Okay. Number 9, discuss the hiring of Gavin Carlson, 17, for summer grass cutting if the paperwork is complete. This is Richard Maplebeck's grandson. I did some research on it. He needs a work permit. It's from Texas. His school system down there doesn't do anything like that, but Michigan will allow him to get a work permit. So I told Richard yesterday, get on him. If that turns into a problem, he can be a volunteer until we can make sure that we can get him on a payroll if he'd like to. But until that paperwork is complete, he submitted all his other stuff for the application, but we need a work permit.
What work permit?
The work permit from the state of Michigan that allows a minor 16 or 17, actually 15 too.
Yeah, from school, like when you're
When you
in
go
high
for,
school.
yeah, if you're in high,
He doesn't live in the state, he doesn't go to school
but-
in the state.
but-
His state doesn't have it, so how is he gonna get one from the state of Michigan?
you can go on a webpage, because it starts right out explaining, you can get them from your school, or you can go to this webpage and get one. So he needs to go to the webpage and get the thing, fill it out, whatever you have to do.
I mean,
My
his
only-
social security number is not enough to get on payroll?
I'm just telling you what
Yeah.
it said when I looked it up, you know?
More bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
question I have is, does township liability insurance cover minors operating heavy machinery?
That was the next thing, because I had a list of what he should do, or could do, or not
Oh,
do.
okay.
He's weed whacking and cleaning.
Well, I'm
or
gonna tell you
something.
what has to happen. For hiring Missons, he needs a school district work permit or one from Michigan. He needs second person supervision all the time. Work permit online. The hours are pretty flexible. He can work a lot. He cannot drive any vehicles. He cannot be the person outside directing a trailer backing up. We need to call Paul Olson, make sure about the insurance, and then I checked with Richard, and I've checked with JC before. All those guys need to be wearing the earmuffs and eye protection and gloves and boots
They do when they're
when they're working, yeah. So he would be included in that, so that we don't get anything stupid happening. So on a contingency that if the paperwork is complete, I will make the motion that we do hire Gavin Carlson for summer grass cutting.
What's his hourly rate?
Good question.
I thought it was $18.50 in the notes.
Oh, Lord, no. The Richard only makes 15.
Yeah.
There was stuff about minimum wage. I looked at that, but it was way lower, like $7 or something. What do we want to pay him?
I would say 13 maybe. Richard's making 15. He's just a part-time.
Yeah, and we need the help. I don't have a problem. Yeah,
I think
13's
13's
fine.
fair.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Fair enough for what it is.
Yeah, just summer help cutting grass.
All right, let me back up then. I'll make the motion to hire Gavin Carlson for summer grass cutting at a rate of $13 per hour when the paperwork is complete. Do we have a second? Okay, any discussion, further discussion from the board? End of discussion. That involves money. Clerk Kern again, unfortunately, we would need a roll call.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Clerk Kern, yes. Treasurer Hunt,
Yes.
Trustee Monet,
Yay.
Trustee Detmer.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Moving back up on the agenda where we were. What are we into? Almost 2 hours right now?
Yeah.
Jesus.
10 minutes.
I can
short.
live, I can tell you that for the second one about the discussion to include the Roscommon County Sheriff's Department, the only reason I changed it to discussion is because I have not actually typed up a resolution yet. We can probably strike that. I can type up the resolution, ferret it back through everybody, and go that route, rather than talk about it more right now. I can
Yeah.
probably just do it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we strike that from the agenda at this point in time. Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, any discussion on it from the board at this, today anyway? I'll end the discussion, and all of those in favor of striking the include Roscommon County Sheriff's Department and anti-noise ordinance from the agenda signify by saying aye.
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 Right.
Okay, one last thing that can also probably wait. Number 4, the A and B land clearing proposal for the hike trail. I have the proposal. I have not yet had time to go and look at this thing. I think we can back burner it here for another day or two. I would really like to go look at this. $19,000 is what they want to get it off
What?
private. I'm sorry, 1,900
Whoa.
to get it
Jesus
off.
Christ, I was gonna say, I thought I heard it was $2 grand. It
No,
went up a lot.
to get-
Inflation.
To get it off private property and onto our property.
Yeah, I wanna go look at it today.
Okay, good enough.
See where it's
So, as far as number 4, A and B land clearing proposal for the hike trail, I'll make a motion that we strike that for today too.
at. Put it on the agenda for work session.
Well, I'm just gonna get it off of this one so we can move. Make a motion to strike it from this agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a second. Any further discussion from the board? Yes, I wanna see it. You wanna see it. I don't even know what went wrong. Any other discussion?
I just wanna see what $1,900 is gonna get us if our guys can't do it,
Okay,
instead of hiring somebody, that's all.
all right. End of discussion. So on the motion to strike A and B land clearing proposal for the hike trail from this agenda, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Okay, that carries. All right, now we're into something that is gonna take a little bit of time. The Pam Scott thing, Timothy was absolutely correct. We cannot hire and pay her mileage as we did. Talked with the attorney. The bottom line is that in order to redo all of that, we had to operate on the basis of the board, in good faith, realizing what they intended to do, and if it was screwed up, then correcting it based on that. It occurred to me that since we started talking about this, a couple of things have changed. So I'm going to throw a couple of motions at you right away. And if we pass these, it's going to resolve most of this. The backstory, as you know, in the budget prep, we paid UHY $250. They found 5 major problems in the budget. On a one-day turnaround, contacted the auditor, Tyler Waters, a lot of, what? He had a conflict of interest, he couldn't help us, so he suggested Pam. With the budget looming and the big 5 issues in there, and finding out the audits are not total, they only pick a couple things. We had a short meeting with Kevin, Greg, and I to lock her in as soon as possible. And I offered her pay and mileage equivalent of what 6 hours of work would cost from UHY, and it was still less than what 1 hour of what UHY would charge as a consultant for all the offices. And as I said, it was not legal to do it in that method. So let me run through these, and then we'll see what might be left with how much of this it solves. First motion is I'll make a motion to hire Pam Scott as the new deputy supervisor at a rate of $20 per hour, generally up to 15 hours per week and as needed, effective 6/30/25. Do we have a second for that?
Do you need a motion for this?
Yes.
We made a resolution to appoint the other ones, not a motion.
We had a resolution to increase their pay.
Increase your pay. Motions to hire someone are motions.
Anyway,
Resolution to appoint
without
deputies. That's
okay.
all I'm saying.
Yeah, those are appointments.
Yeah, he wants to appoint Pam.
No, he wants to hire.
I want to hire her.
There's a difference. He wants to appoint is different. I'm appointed to a committee, let's say, but I'm not hired.
Yeah.
And let me explain just why I'm trying to go too fast. She's no longer going to be doing the stuff that she was getting paid for and getting paid mileage for in that extent. I'm going to hire her as a deputy supervisor. That resolves some of these issues.
I don't get it. Well, why aren't the other ones hired then? Jonette was appointed, Courtney was appointed, Teresa was appointed.
I can make the motion to appoint her if you'd like.
This is your decision though.
I want to hire her.
No, We're beating on the same bush, I guess, here. You can appoint her. You can appoint her, not the board. Doesn't matter what the board thinks. You may have an appointment.
Okay, I'm going to live with the motion just to make sure that this is covering solving the problem
Oh, I
that
see
I'm
what you're
trying to
getting
solve.
at. Yeah, the supervisor can hire the
Yeah.
deputy supervisor. He does not need our permission.
Not hired.
Appoint, hire, whatever.
Okay.
But just
Okay.
like you took on Teresa, you took on Courtney, yeah, he doesn't need our
Yeah,
permission.
so the-
Okay,
I see what
as
you're
long
saying
as you
now.
all understand that this is a three-tiered thing to try and solve a problem that we have. So if we don't need a motion, fine, I'm going to hire her.
Appoint. I'm teasing,
Sorry.
I'm teasing.
Second one is I will make the motion that Pam Scott continue in a consulting role for the clerk or the treasurer's office. Again, understanding that I'm bringing her on as a deputy supervisor, so it wouldn't be consulting, she's working for me. But to continue in a consultant role for the clerk or the treasurer's office, if and when needed, as a township employee at the rate of $25 per hour. This remains as in a consultant role.
Excuse
This I have a little issue with.
Real quick, we have to back up.
Yeah, he's
Okay, go
gotta
ahead.
make a motion and it's gotta
we
be
gotta
seconded,
back up.
then we can discuss.
Her pay rate, we have to approve that.
Okay?
He's making a motion.
No, right here. We have to backtrack and amend.
Oh, the $20.
He doesn't need our permission to hire her, but the money, the pay, we have to approve that.
So
Sorry.
if we do the motion, is it all good as is with the money involved?
Yes.
Okay, I'll back up again.
Then down here, the township board here approves monies. See?
I'm sorry, man. You gotta be somewhere yet?
At noon,
Okay.
I gotta be across the street for the meeting.
All right, I'm gonna roll through.
Yep.
We're close to done.
Yep.
This is gonna be yes or no's. All right, I'll back up and again make the
Sorry.
motion to hire Pam Scott as the new deputy supervisor at a rate of $20 per hour, generally up to 15 hours a week and as needed, effective 6/30/25. Do we have a second?
It's a money thing.
Second.
Okay, we got a second. Is there any further discussion from the board on that? Okay, we'll end the discussion. I'm not gonna repeat it.
Roll, clerk.
Can we please have a roll call? Clerk Perrin.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
No.
trustee Detmer,
Yes.
treasurer Hop,
Yes.
clerk Pern, yes.
Okay, motion carries 4-1. Second one is, again, trying to solve a problem that we got ourselves into, or I got us into. I'll make a motion that Pam Scott continue in a consulting, should be, not consultant, consulting role for the clerk or treasurer's office if and when needed as a township employee at a rate of $25 per hour. Do we have a second on that? Okay, I'll
Maybe we
ask
should
one more
have a
time for a
discussion
second.
on this.
Well, you can second it, and we can talk.
All right, I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second, board discussion on it?
So on this one, I understand her as a consultant, but I look at it this way, like Teresa and Courtney help out in other areas as needed with no extra pay. Like Teresa helps out with the clerk's office when they were doing the mailing for the ballots, no extra pay. So I just have a problem with paying one person extra when other people help out in different areas, that's all.
Okay, any other board discussion?
Oh, that's a big deal.
Well, I have an issue with it because if she's there acting in a capacity as a deputy supervisor and someone else needs help, does she get $45 an hour at that point?
No.
I mean, it's a fair question.
No,
I mean-
what we were previously doing was she was tracking her hours depending on which office.
Okay.
But if she's
All right.
working for me, my issue has always been the same thing. This person came in here and saved both of your offices' ass to a certain extent and mine. Has a solid knowledge base and we're gonna be able to use it forward. I'm not okay with only paying her $20 when she goes to a consultant role. But if this motion doesn't carry, it doesn't
Well,
carry.
I mean, but do you know how upset the other two deputies would be?
Yes,
They
and
found
I-
out that?
Yeah, and it does not compute to me that when you bring somebody in who knows more about something, that you bitch about them getting more money. I don't get it.
I don't think it's right that. they
It's a
should-
knowledge curve.
Everybody-
When you take somebody to fix your car,
All of
you're
us
relying
work
on their
together.
job. I get it. If it fails, it fails. I'm putting
Yeah,
it out there.
I don't-
Because if she's my deputy, she's gonna be working for me.
And
If you
if we-
don't want to pay her more to be a consultant,
And if we need to
We'll
borrow
decide
her
that.
knowledge, you're saying we can't borrow her
No, I
knowledge?
not
think
saying
Paul
that.
is absolutely right. Don't come to my office anymore, Paul, with your problems. Because you ask Courtney 15 times a week, I guarantee you.
Yes.
That's right. If she's there to help and Teresa's there to help, either Pam is there to help or we don't need Pam, period.
and that's fine. If the motion doesn't carry,
All
that's
right.
fine.
This is just a discussion,
Yeah.
all right?
I have
I'm
a
just-
problem also. She shouldn't be titled as an employee. A consultant should have a contract. Once you put her on payroll, there's taxes we have to pay. She's opened up to
Yeah.
unemployment
That's
insurance.
a whole nother story, little known fact in
okay.
here. I tried to hire her as a consultant, suddenly she was an employee before I even caught up with it.
Okay.
And we've been living with it ever
Okay.
since. Okay, any
I
other
just-
discussion on it? I get it, we'll just
I mean,
throw it
I
out there
just
and if
think
it don't
we all
pass.
kinda should work together. If they're making the same amount of money, why can't we all help one another?
Certainly a valid point.
You know, like, come
Okay.
on, we're all on the same team here, man.
All
Like,
right,
you
okay,
know.
let's roll. So we had a second, we had some discussion, I'll restate it. The motion is that Pam Scott continue in a consultant role for clerk or treasurer's office if and when needed as township employee at a rate of 25 per hour. Can we have a roll call on that, please, Clerk Parham?
Sure. Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
trustee Manette,
No.
treasurer Hobbs,
No,
clerk Kern, no. Trustee Detman,
No,
Okay, motion does not pass 4-1. The motion fails. Okay, last part of this, and I want, take a breath. This, I believe, is a way that we can back out of a situation that was created by hiring her and paying her mileage. I've had a couple of conversations with the attorneys already about that, but we can make a move, and I talked with her about this too, that I think will resolve it, but it also includes the intent of our conversation when we first hired her. I know that Kevin remembers that conversation and the fact that we were paying her a rate and some mileage. Greg does not remember it that way. But here's the motion that may end up being able to work ourselves around this thing. And she is okay with this. I'll make a motion that the township requests any money, and that to be determined by the clerk's office, paid to Pam Scott in the form of mileage reimbursement, be returned to the township prior to July 14th. and that the township board, in keeping with the intent and rationale of her initial hiring as consultant, that amount of money be paid back to Pam Scott, making her whole in a manner that our legal firm prefers and is approved then by the township board. He threw a couple of options at me. I would prefer that if we're okay with this, throw it back to them and say, which one do you feel that we should look at and adopt? So I made that motion to keep us from having to try and figure out what we can do about it, decide how we can start the process, give it back to the attorney, and have them tell us the best way to do it. So I'm making that motion. Do we have a second? I'll ask one more time, but we don't have time if there's not one there.
We gotta figure out some solution to this problem, right?
Absolutely, that's why it's right here in front of you.
So, second.
Okay, we got a second. Any discussion on it from the board?
So the idea is it's paid back. Under what context will she get that money then turned around and given back to her?
That's for the attorney to tell us.
Okay.
It's gonna be tricky because now if she's gonna pay us back,
She will pay us
where
back
do we
for,
put that money in? What
I don't know, this is
fund
what,
does that go into?
I don't know. All I know is that
Payroll?
we have to fix this. And this is the
Yeah.
best way that I can think of to keep the attorney involved in the decision-making process. And it is for sure, if it was paid as mileage, then it needs to come back to us. The question is, are we gonna follow the intent of what we originally told her?
So
And
we
make
have
her
a
whole lot of
mileage,
money.
we have a mileage, line item.
She
That's what
was
she's
being
paid
paid, a
out.
percentage of money she was being
Yeah.
paid was mileage. That money needs to come back. And in my opinion, we need to make her whole because the thing got screwed up from the get-go with the intent of what we were trying to do in the first place.
As much as I don't like it, I don't wanna renege on anything either.
That's where I'm at. It's kind of like the girl drawing the pictures for the new park signs. Nobody likes it, but what are you gonna crush her, you know?
Well, I'd
It's
like to
another
get
one of them
something-
making it whole things.
I'd like to get something straight, that there's no "we" in this mileage thing. I never voted, I never
I
heard
get it.
about the mileage.
Me
I wanna make sure everybody understands that. And our intent, you say we intended. I didn't intend her to get mileage.
Yes,
I did agree with the $30. I thought that was well worth it based on the charges from those other people, which were tremendously out of range.
Absolutely.
So, and I don't want to penalize her for taking something that was offered to her, if it indeed was. I just don't recall it. So,
Yeah, and I'm using "we" because the attorney said the board members who were there.
Yeah.
The intent of what they were trying to
Well,
do.
there was only 3 of us,
Right,
Yeah.
that's,
and I don't remember it, so how?
right, so
Okay.
Kevin does remember.
I remember
Okay.
somewhat of it now.
Of mileage?
Well, it's not in the minutes that way.
No, the minutes don't have it in it, and there was
Yeah.
no video
I
recording.
mean, I remember the discussion, I just,
At this point in time,
it's
Yeah.
too late now, I mean,
at this point in time, this will get us on the track to fixing something. And I honestly don't know quite what else we could do to keep things fair. I would like to just get a vote on this thing and see where we're going with it.
Yep.
I'll state it again, that on the motion that the township requests any money determined by the clerk's office paid to Pam Scott in the form of mileage reimbursement be returned to the township prior to July 14th, and the township board, in keeping with the intent and rationale of her initial hiring as consultant, that amount be paid back to Pam Scott, making her whole, in a manner that our legal firm prefers and is approved by the township board. So could we have a roll call on that, please, Clerk Parn?
Certainly. Trustee Detmer.
Aye.
I didn't hear that. You still thinking?
no,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Treasurer Hobbs,
yes.
Trustee Monet,
No.
and Clerk Pern, no. Passes 3-2.
Okay, motion passed 3-2. I think that's it. Unless anybody wants to jaw longer. Nobody's left to talk? I'll make a motion that we
Nope.
adjourn the meeting at this time.
I was gonna have my comments, but since there's nobody in the audience, I think I'll pass.
I don't want to hear you.
Yes, yes. There's somebody there, you just can't see him. Let's see, oh, the motion to
Yeah.
adjourn at 11:40?
I'll second.
All right, all those, or any discussion on it? End of
the clock is
discussion,
wrong.
all those in favor, yeah, it's probably slow. All
No,
those in
it's
favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we're done.
Start
For today.